name is Tanya Zuniga, and this is my last report for Global Business Economics. What is sex-gender discrimination? Sex-gender discrimination is the different treatment between a female and a male. Oftentimes, females are discriminated against because of their gender, because they have more responsibilities at home, or because they are assumed that they can't hold or carry the same load that a male can. If an individual has been rejected or fired from a position at work, then that person has suffered or is a victim of sex and gender discrimination. Some examples of unlawful sex or gender discrimination that women can face would be the hiring, firing, or even receiving a promotion in a job. The female may apply for a position at a job, and she knows that she meets the requirement. She has excellent qualities, and she's simply not given the job because there are long-term clients that are more comfortable with working with men. That would be an example of discrimination, simply because the customer would rather work with men. The woman is not given this job position. Another example would be pay. Assume that a female is working in a restaurant, and she works her way up from being the cook or the chef's help to a chef position. Then a male is given the same position that she is now in, but he makes more money than she does. That is another example of sex and gender discrimination. Also, job classifications. If the female is working in a company for 4 years and she has put many hours of overtime, then she no longer can, because she has a newborn baby. She cannot put in as many overtime hours, so she informs her boss that she's not able to do that anymore. Then her boss decides to change her position and pay her less money because she has home responsibilities now. That is also another example of unlawful gender discrimination. Title VII of the Civil Rights of 1964, and I quote, is the federal law that protects individuals from discrimination based on their sex or gender. This law actually protects all private employers, states and local governments, and educational institutions that employ 15 or more individuals. This law also covers private and public employment agencies, labor organizations, and joint labor management committees controlling apprenticeship and training. If an individual is faced with sex or gender discrimination, there is a law that will cover this and protect them, and they should immediately report that. As a human resources assistant, what I would do in that situation is, according to Mural, she gives advice to human resources assistants, and she gives 6 points as far as how to approach a situation like this. And the first one would be to recognize the difference between job level and job titles. An employee may be granted a particular title, but if the level of responsibility and challenges haven't changed, the worker can feel he is being appeased and that he isn't fully trusted or valued within the organization. Examine barriers is her next point. Examine barriers to both entry and advancement. Her next point would be study companies that consistently do things right, pay attention to diversity leaders, and integrate their best practices into your workplace culture. Her next point would be to create focused employee development initiatives such as formal mentorship programs that equalize resources and facilitate diversity. Her last point is to form affinity or diversity groups within the group. Sex discrimination is something that should definitely not happen in the workplace. Again, if a person is faced with sex and gender discrimination, that person should immediately report it. Human resources should take action and eliminate those actions being taken unlawfully towards female or male discrimination. Thank you.